Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my next series. Current series, depends how you view it. The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D. So this is the 3DS remake of the original for the N64. The original is widely considered the best game ever. It redefines so many things in terms of how gaming works. It sets the pace for not only for 3D Zeldas generally, but 3D games generally were kind of a lot of those trends were established in this one. It's a wonderful game, and I love it. The 3D version is generally very much a remake. There are some differences which I'll talk through as they become relevant. It's got a really interesting title screen, as you can see as well. It's really quite chilled out. The music is really nice, and it's just got a really peaceful feel of just Link riding around Epona on Hyrule Field. And so, with that, the camera is zooming into the woods, which is where our story begins.
In the vast, deep forest of Hyrule. Long have I served as the guardian spirit. I am known as the Deku Tree. The children of the forest, the Kokiri, live here with me. Each Kokiri has his or her own guardian fairy. However, there is one boy who does not have a fairy. Navai, what art thou? Come hither. Oh, Navai the fairy, listen to my words, the words of the Deku Tree. Dost thou sense it, the climate of evil descending upon this realm? Malevolent forces even now are mustering to attack our land of Hyrule. For so long, the Kokiri Forest, the source of life, has stood as a barrier, deterring outsiders and maintaining the order of the world. But before this tremendous evil, even my power is as nothing. It seems the time has come for the boy without a fairy to begin his journey. The youth whose destiny it is to lead Hyrule to the path of justice and truth. Navi, go now, find our young friend, guide him to me. I do not have much time left. Fly, Navi, fly! The fate of the forest, nay, the world, depends upon thee.
Hello, Doctor, wake up! The great Deku Tree wants to talk to you! Doctor, get up! Hey, come on! Can Hyrule's destiny really depend on such a lazy boy? You finally woke up! I'm Navi the fairy. Great Deku Tree asked me to be your partner from now on. Nice to meet you. The Great Deku Tree has summoned you, so let's get going, right now!
And so our journey begins. We start off in the doctor's house. Basic stuff, the control stick is move, A is roll, and that's about it. More controls will become relevant as it goes on. There's also a lot of stuff you'll notice on the screen. There's a lot of stuff to the right, including the bottom screen. As ever, I will talk through that as it becomes relevant. I think I can change the view in here if I poke there. Yeah, I can make it go to that thing. You can go from fixed camera to non-fixed camera. Cool, let's head out. Yahoo! Hi, Doctor! So, here is our old childhood friend, Saria. Let's target her with L and then press A to talk. Wow, a fairy! Finally, a fairy came to you, Doctor. That's great news, I'm so happy for you. Now you're a true Kokiri, Doctor. Is that right? The Great Deku Tree has summoned you? The Deku Tree. It's quite an honour to talk to the Great Deku Tree. I'll wait for you here. Get going. Go see the Great Deku Tree. So, we're now kind of set loose around Kokiri Forest, our kind of starting area. As we kind of saw from Navi's opening... I'm going to switch between saying Navi and Navi, because I don't know which one I say. We'll find out by the end of the Let's Play. As we saw from the opening look amazing this game is in 3D flyby that Navi did, this is the way to the Deku Tree, but unfortunately this freak is in the way. Hey you, Mr. No Fairy, what's your business with the Great Deku Tree? Without a fairy you're not even a real man. What? You've got a fairy? Say what? The Great Deku Tree actually summoned you? What? Why would he summon you and not the Great Mido? This isn't funny. I don't believe it, you aren't even fully equipped yet. How do you think you're going to help the Great Deku Tree without both a sword and a shield ready? What? You're right, I don't have my equipment ready, but if you want to pass through here, you should at least equip a sword and a shield. Sheesh. Well, that gives us our goal for now. Oh, so Navi is trying to talk to us, so it flashes Navi at the bottom, and if you boop her icon there...
The Great Deku Tree has summoned you, please come with me.
She gives usually extremely unuseful advice. But this kind of generally serves as a tutorial area, so it's nice to kind of get used to the controls a bit. The camera is not free, unlike in later Zelda games. You can press L at any point to center it behind you, like that, but you have kind of got free movement, so if you... Oh dear! As long as you move gently on the stick, I was about to say, and I blasted it there, you should be able to walk across these pretty easily. And grab. At the top, that was 5 rupees, so you notice there on the bottom screen, the kind of middle left of the bottom screen, which in the bottom right for you guys, is our rupee count. That was a blue rupee, which is worth 5. Hehe, you came all the way up here? You're a real man. Look, isn't this view pretty? Change your viewpoint with the pokey button so you can look around the forest with the control stick. So indeed, if we click on that, then we can look around. It's also, the icon on the top right means we can use the gyroscope for that, but gyroscope aiming is the devil's work. So, there we go. All very nice. Now, where was I going to go next? I'm going to go down there to learn a few more things. If we talk to this guy, hey by the stone, pick it up. Hey by the stone, pick it up. Mean old Mido, he's making me pick up the rocks in front of his house. So you'll notice you've got that, it's called the context button, where it says A in the bottom right of the top screen. Like currently it's saying, put away. And I pressed A, and now I went away. Indeed, now it says grab, which does that. Now it says throw. This seems like something that's in so many games nowadays, but it's actually was pretty revolutionary at the time, of not having buttons fixed to things, but having a button which would do different things in different contexts. It's actually surprisingly unusual. Anyway, if we enter Mido's house here... Oh dear, I accidentally picked up another rock. You'll see it's full of treasure chests. Based on what we've seen so far, I'm not the biggest fan of Mido, so of course, every opportunity should be taken to rob the bastard blind. So there's 4 chests in here which you can loot. There's a red rupee, a green rupee, not red rupee, 2 blue rupees, a green rupee, and I believe in this last one is a recovery heart. We haven't damaged ourselves yet, but top of the bottom screen you'll see there's 3 hearts. That's our life energy. We take damage, those hearts are depleted. I'm assuming, by basically, I'm doing this explanation for people who've never played a Zelda game before, which I suspect there's not many people who's watching, but hey, it gives me something to talk about while the game does heavy-handed tutorials. One final place to visit, so this is the shop, and indeed, so I talked about L targeting. I'm holding L here to target, her. Hi Doctor, look this way, look over here with L and talk to me with A. While you're L targeted, Navi flies towards them, and you move around with the camera kind of fixed on them, and then it means you can also talk to people from a bit of a distance. Yes, that's how you use a fairy. It's so great that you finally have a fairy partner. I'll teach you how to talk to people using a fairy. When a fairy flies near a person or thing, press L to look in that direction. If you use L targeting, you can talk to people from a distance, like we're doing now. When you have nothing that you can target, press L to look forward. Try it. Well, I can't try there because you have something to look forward to, which was her. That sounds weird. Anyway, this is a shop which lets us buy things. The only interesting thing particularly here for sale is a Deku shield for 40 rupees. So, that's where we get our shield from. I don't have 40 rupees, currently I have 27, so we'll try and gather a few more around the place. Our other task, of course, is to get hold of a sword. That's a slightly trickier one and requires us to go to the forest training area, which is up the way here. As you can see, Kokiri Forest is quite small. There is technically a map on the bottom screen, but it's not very good. The much better map is on the bottom left of the top screen. Here you can see the red arrow marks where you came into this area, and the yellow marks where you currently are. So you can see if we go through here, we can talk to the sign. I'll check the sign. Hole of L. Let's go through this small hole. Stand in front of the hole and push the control stick to enter it. When the action icon appears to say enter, press A to crawl into the hole. Pay attention to what the action icon says. So indeed, there we get the option to enter, which lets us crawl in, and fortunately goes into first person because we were about to get an extremely uncomfortable camera angle. Now if you look at the map in the bottom left, you can see what's going to be a brief maze here. And you can hear there's a boulder rolling around the place. There's a fair few little ends here which have rupees in them. Viewpoint targeting with L. When you have no object to look at, you can just look forward with L. Stop moving and then change the direction you're facing, or hold down L for a little while. This can help you get oriented in the direction you want to face. It's quite convenient. If you hold down L, you can walk crabwise while facing straight ahead. Walking sideways can be a very important technique in dungeon corridors. Turn around and try doing this now. Okay? So yeah, you can fix the camera in one position and walk like that. It's not as useful as the sign makes it sound like it's going to be, because then you'll walk straight into a bloody boulder like an idiot. Ooh! What even hit me there? Oh, is it still behind me? The boulder is still behind me. Yeah, there's just a boulder rolling around here. We've nearly got enough rupees for the shield, but more importantly, is a large chest here. I nearly got hit by the bloody boulder again. Visit House of the Know-It-All Brothers to get answers to all your item-related questions. Not very useful, but hey, if we open this big chest, we get something useful. You got the Kokiri Sword. Tap the green button on the lower screen to open the gear subscreen and then tap the weapon to equip it. This is a hidden treasure of the Kokiri, but you can borrow it for a while. Be sure to practice with it before you really fight. So indeed, if I bring up the bottom screen, which is doink, fancy visualizer switches. So, what we do now is, indeed, as I said, to equip it, we go into gear, and we have our Kokiri tunic that we're wearing, and we equip then the Kokiri Sword. Wonderful. There we go. So we can now swing the sword with B, and it's standard Zelda sword controls. So you do attacks in batches of 4. If you're not L targeting, you do a horizontal slash. If you are L targeting, you do a vertical slash. If you hold forward, you do a thrust. You press A, and you'll do a jump attack straight into a boulder. Hold B, and you'll charge up and do a spin attack. That was a nice quick tutorial there, which is faster than anything the game would have given me. Now I believe if I cut this bush down, really thought there was a blue rupee in there, which would have been very handy to have. So, I need to find another rupee, I guess, from somewhere. By another rupee, I of course mean another 6 rupees. These bushes should have some in. Oh, that's a heart. That's, of course, restores some of the damage I took from that stupid boulder. That's 1. That's 2. Ooh, I chopped part of that sign off. See, that's the difference between that was a vertical slash then. If I do a horizontal slash on this one, hey, you got the top of it off. Oh, and I got a 5 out of it. Perfect. Well, vandalism pays, ladies and gentlemen, now we know. Right, with all of that done, if we head over to the red-roofed house, we can buy our shield from the shop, because we now have our 40 rupees. Wonderful, and then we'll be ready to see the great Deku Tree himself. So, let's purchase that. And then once again it tells me how it equips, and you'll notice things are starting to appear on the visualizer to the right. There's kind of one panel of that which is equipment, which looks exactly the same, or very similar to our gear subscreen. If I bring them up, and you can see, yeah, you can roughly see the things that are displayed on that. Actually also these things that are on the left here, with the kind of the 6 things and the 3 things, are actually on one of the panels on the right. You should be able to, slowly as I get stuff, work out what is what on the visualizer. Anyway, we equip the shield like so. Using a shield is relatively straightforward. If you have your sword drawn and you hold, and you're L targeting an enemy, you can hold R to bring the shield up, and you'll kind of point it like that, and it deflects attacks. Equally, I think I can actually do that without your sword equipped. Yeah, and you just stay in place, and you can move around while L targeting and shielding, which is very handy. So, with us fully equipped, let's go over and talk to Mido. Oh, clunk. There we go. If you want to see the great Deku Tree, you should at least equip a sword and a shield. Yeah, what's that? Oh, you have a Deku shield. And what's that? Is that the Kokiri sword? Good grief! Well, even with all that stuff, a wimp is still just a wimp, huh? Aye, the great Mido will never accept you as one of us. Shoot, how did you get to be the favourite of Saria and the great Deku Tree, huh? Grumble, grumble, grumble. Well, he finally fucks off, moody bastard, and coming around the corner here, it's time to encounter our first enemy, so I'm going to draw sword. Indeed! These are, well, if we L-target them and activate Navi, she will say, this is a Deku Baba. Though it looks withered, it will hurt you if you touch it. Do a little thrust to it, and that's all it takes to defeat it, and get a Deku Stick. Tap blue on the lower screen to open the item subscreen, then set it to X, Y, 1 or 2. Swing it using that button, and whenever we want it to put away, stand still and press A. You can only carry a certain amount, so don't waste them. So if I kill these guys, grab some sticks from each one I kill, and we'll talk about items briefly. So if I go onto items, my whole grid of items appears here, and I can equip them by clicking to any of these 4 buttons. And these are kind of interesting, because basically, so X and Y are the X and Y buttons on the controller, well, on the fucking 3DS. 1 and 2 are touch-only buttons, so it kind of makes up for the lack of buttons on the 3DS by giving you extra ones, which is a really nice addition, oh bloody hell, over the original. Though I think, we had 3 buttons on, you had these 3 C directions on the N64 one, but now you've got 4, which is really nice. Anyway, you can farm Deku Sticks here unlimitedly. I think you can only hold 6 or 7 at this stage, but no point in that. Let's go and talk to the Deku Tree.
Great Deku Tree, I'm back!
Oh, Navi, thou hast returned. Doctor, welcome. Listen carefully to what I, the Deku Tree, am about to tell thee. Thy slumber these past moons must have been restless and full of nightmares. As the servants of evil gain strength, a vile climate pervades the land and causes nightmares to those sensitive to it. Verily, thou hast felt it. Doctor, the time has come to test thy courage. I have been cursed. I need thee to break the curse with thy wisdom and thy courage. Dost thou have the courage to undertake this task?
Yes, I do.
Then enter, brave Doctor, and thou too, Navi. Navi the Fairy, thou must aid Doctor. And Doctor, when Navi speaks, use the touchscreen to listen well to her words of wisdom.
And so, this is one of the interesting things about this compared to other Zelda games. There's not much fanning around before the first dungeon. This is straight ahead here, the first dungeon. Normally, from past Let's Plays, it normally takes a couple of episodes at least to get to the first dungeon. Starting on the first episode, something unusual. Let's head into our first dungeon. Shockingly, it's called Inside the Deku Tree. And because it is our first dungeon, it's relatively straightforward. So we've got some Deku Babas here, but if we kill them, well, these are slightly different ones. The last ones... So this is, if you hit it while it lunges at you, it will stand upright. Cut it quickly to get a Deku Stick. So these are slightly more powerful than the ones we faced outside. Similar concept, though. But what I want from them, actually, is not a Deku Stick, but... There we go. A new item. Cross it off in the visualizer. These are Deku Nuts. Set them and try throwing one. It will flash and stun the enemy. So it's basically a flashbang grenade. So I'll just equip them without bringing the screens over to X, which is quite nice to have. There we go. So now... There's a couple of things to note here. There's this thing, which if we stand on it, Navi says,
Look, Doctor, you can see down below this web by using the touchscreen.
And indeed... Oh, inverted. No, not inverted. I want that inverted, actually. Hold on, let's do that, actually. Options... Camera control, inverted. For games that aren't normally first person, I do quite like it for aiming and stuff. Yeah, it feels much nicer. So there's stuff below us there. Worth knowing. What we need to do next is we need to actually start going upwards a bit. So if we approach this...
Look at this wall! The vines going on it give it a rough surface. Maybe you can climb it, Doctor.
I don't know if anyone's ever actually tried climbing like vines in real life. Fuck, it's hard, unless they're seriously thick. Which they never are in real life. So if we come around here, there are some more vines to climb up. And there's also a new enemy. Indeed, these are Skull Wall Toolers. Be careful not to touch it. And indeed, if you try and climb it, don't be as careful as you want. The same thing will always happen, he says. Eventually, yep, there you go, purple, charge at you and knock you off the wall. I think it's pretty much impossible to get up that wall at that point. So let's open this giant chest it's given us. So this is the dungeon map. Tap red on the lower screen to look at the detailed map. Blue chambers are ones you've already visited. Your current location is the flashing room. Tap floor numbers to select a floor to view. So indeed, if we bring up the map, well, you can see that it's there at the bottom anyway, in the middle of the bottom screen. But if we bring up the map, then you can see, yeah, we're here. But you can look around, there's a fair bit of stuff deep down, and there's a fair bit of stuff above us. It's a relatively simple dungeon, though, this one. So as it says, yeah, blue is the room we visited, so that's where we entered in, and flashing is where we currently are. So it's handy for just seeing where you have and haven't been, and what kind of the options are. So, if we keep proceeding around here, then we have a door here. Simple enough. Oh, you're going to tell me, aren't you, Navi? Thank you.
You can open a door by standing in front of it and pressing A. Pay attention to what the action icon says. That's the A button icon on the upper screen.
Navi. She's full of useless information. Well, time for a new enemy. So this is... Oh, about to hit me. This is a Deku Scrub. It will hide in the grass if you get close to it. Bounce the nuts, it spits back at it. Can I do this fast enough? Yes! So, bring up your shield and you will bounce its nut back at it. It's the only way to defeat them. And then once they're bouncing around, chase them down and don't apparently chase them down successfully. I should show off a Deku Seed at some point. Deku Nut even. Right, there we go. Whoop! Oh my god. Why am I so stupid? Get here, you daft bastard.
Ow, ow, ow! Forgive me, master. If I give you a tip, will you let me go? When you jump off a high cliff, if you roll forward, you will roll on the ground when you land and won't get hurt from the fall. I can't guarantee it'll work, though, if the cliff is really, really high. Well, try if you're feeling bold.
Ooh, Link did an interesting spin there. He's supposed to turn and look at... So the door unlocked there, and Link was supposed to turn and look at that, but with the camera where it was, he did a weird thing. Anyway, if we proceed through here, well, there's something interesting up ahead. Whee! There goes that platform. So for now, there is no way back out of this room. Interesting. But don't worry, we're about to get a way out of this room, because once again, it's given us a very large chest. And we get the fairy slingshot. Use the button to take it out, or hold to load a Deku Seed. Aim with the control stick and release stuff fire. If you want to shoot right away, hold it down a little longer to get a seed ready. So, if I bring up... Actually, I'll just do this on the bottom screen without flipping them over. I'm going to put that on X, and then put the nut on Y, just because that's a bit easier for me. So, if we look over there, there is a ladder. Look, something is hanging up there. It looks like an old ladder. So we can dislodge it, as she says. We aim around with the control stick while holding X. Actually, don't have to hold X. And then let go. To hit there. You can also just aim around like that. The elastic bit in the middle is where your shot will hit pretty reliably. As you can see, we've got 28 shots for it, which are on the bottom screen on top of the icon for the slingshot. Very handy. So back here in the main room, what this handily allows us to do is deal with the skull wall toolers. So we can either L target and it'll hit automatically like that, or we can aim in manual mode like previously. That's just a nice easy way of doing it. Ooh! So these here are Deku Seeds, which are slingshot ammunition. So we've got a couple of them. Technically, so you can upgrade your bullet bag a couple of points during the game, so you'll notice various things have appeared on the visualizer. Not only have we got the slingshot, we've also got the small bullet bag, which is the one that it comes with. There are an upgrade that let you hold 40 and 50, which we'll be getting actually before too long, if I'm honest. Up here, time for a new enemy. This is, you've seen Skull Wall Toolers, this is a big Skull Tuller. Its soft belly is its weak point, so indeed, L target, wait for it to... Oh, bloody hell. Don't hit it. Like that, or it'll spin around like a lunatic. What you do is wait for it to spin around 180 degrees, and then at that point, you can slash it to finish it off. So a jump attack is basically so... this is my standard for doing units of damage in Zelda games. 1 unit of damage is this. You'll notice, you notice it kind of goes 1, 2, 3. A kind of 3-stage combo is 1 damage. A jump attack does 2 damage. So when you've got the maneuverability to do it, it's pretty handy. You'll notice up here there isn't much to go for, except for there is 1 door here, so let's do that. So, well, you'll hear the music's gone a bit angry because there's enemies nearby. There's a big Skull Tuller up there, and there is a Deku thing down there, which we can't get until it's exposed, and here is a switch, which we can stand on. Raise some platforms, but if you hear the music... Oh, shit. Well, what you're supposed to be hearing was there's tick-tocking in the background, which means you have finite time to do that until the platforms raise up again. And indeed... Oh, they've already raised... No, not raised up, raised down. The opposite of what I said. So let's try and do that a bit better. And once again, we have a very large chest. This is what I'm saying when I mean that this early dungeon is pretty straightforward, which is by design and quite nice. As a little introduction, if we open this huge chest, we get our 3rd and final dungeon item. So this is the compass. Now you can see the locations of many hidden things in the dungeon. So if I bring up the bottom screen, you'll notice, so now there is this red mark on this level, which of course means there is a chest there. There's also a chest on the 2nd floor, which I've missed, and a chest right down there, and on the basement floor, 2nd basement even, there is... Oh, for fuck's sake, come on. There we go. There is a skull mark showing where the boss is. There's also, you notice now, you can generally as well see where we are. So that's they're the 3 dungeon items, the 3 things you'll get in pretty much every dungeon is a dungeon map, a compass, and the dungeon item, which is some kind of an item that helps you solve the dungeon. In this case, it is the slingshot. Anyway, what I want to do now is I want to take out this big Skulltula first, because otherwise he will fuck me over in what I'm about to do. Because yes, so the compass shows that there is another treasure chest over there, and there is also something else that you're going to get real familiar with over the coming entire Let's Play, really. Okay, I don't want to target that torch. I want to hit this again, and this time I'm going to cross over to the left. So the big Skulltula would have blocked your path if you tried to do this, but now it's out the way, and we've got 2 things to gather here. So firstly, there's a chest which contains, I believe, 20 quid. Oh, a heart. Well, that's not very useful. But here is something that is useful. This is a gold Skulltula. Can't L-target it, which is interesting, but what we can do is just kill it. And something interesting comes out of it. This is... you destroyed a gold Skulltula. You got a token proving you destroyed it. And you'll notice in the top right of the visualizer is a little meter. That indicates how many of the gold Skulltulas in the game we've got. So it's moved up a little bit. You probably won't be able to tell. There's 100 of those in the game. So that thing's going to move up very gently over the course of the entire Let's Play. Finally, we want to get out, but the room is locked. But there is an empty brazier there.
It looks like that torch was burning not too long ago.
So indeed, if we bring out a Deku stick, light it on fire there, and bring the fire over there. Perfect. Door opens. And now, getting towards the end of the episode, well, it's been nearly 30 minutes, but hey, I'm okay with a longer opening episode. Let's kill this big Skulltula. And remember, I started the dungeon by showing there was that web down at the bottom that you could see through. If we'd managed a jump from a nice enough height, land straight in the middle, and we crack through it and fall down into the bowels of the Deku Tree. And indeed, at that point, I am going to end the episode. With that section, I thought, as a kid, for years, I thought you had to do a jump attack and hit it perfectly with that, which is harder to aim. You don't, you just need to hit it fast enough with hard enough impacts. So yeah, we, the boy without a fairy, finally got a fairy. We've come here to aid the great Deku Tree, and next episode we'll be attending to rid him of the dark curse that's upon him. Hope you'll join me then. Thank you very much, and good day.